Dr. Ali Zentner joins us today. Thanks so much for talking with us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you live in Vancouver now, but
Yes.
you once lived in Lethbridge. So what's it like to be back?
It's always good to come. I always joke that Lethbridge was like my first boyfriend. That it didn't work out, but I always speak fondly of him, you know?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great to come home.
You're a physician and you're an author. You just released a book. It's called The Weight Loss Prescription. Tell us about the book.
So the book is a really interesting look at weight loss that's, I think, different than the books that are out there nowadays. You know, most books weight loss wise say, eat this, don't eat that. What this book asks you to do is identify who you are around food. So there's 6 different eating personalities. Are you an emotional eater, someone who uses their emotions around food? Are you a calorie drinker? Are you a portion distorter, someone who may eat well but a little bit too much? Are you a fast food junkie, someone who eats out or eats fast food quite often? Are you an all or nothing dieter, so someone who oscillates between totally on track and completely off track? Or are you a sitting duck?
Okay.
And then what I do is help you navigate. You know, I introduce you actually to a patient of mine, a real patient. I've been working in obesity medicine for 12 years now, and help you identify with that person, or even just a little bit of empathy towards the cause, so to speak, and then how to navigate away from that eating personality.
Okay, so like you said, there are eating personalities, so identifying them, how important is that in changing our habits and how we change our behavior around food?
So think about it. We have rules for every other relationship in our lives. You have rules for how you relate to your colleagues, how you relate to your family, your friends, etc., because you know your place at work, you know your place at home, etc. And I think the same thing goes with food. If you know who you are around it, then you can establish rules and codes of conduct, so to speak. And when you have an unhealthy relationship with food, it's more valuable than ever to know why that relationship is unhealthy and then know what the rules should be.
Okay, now you yourself have lost a significant amount of weight. How much weight have you lost?
176 pounds.
That's incredible.
It's a Backstreet Boy, but you know, it's all good. Is that, am I dating myself? It's Justin Bieber and then some.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I know, I'm old. You know, and in the book, I actually talk about patient stories, but I also, if I may be so bold, I do reference my own story. I think people, especially those of us struggling with weight issues, we want people to, you know, it's important to have a community and have a sense of identity. And over the years, I always had patients say to me, can you recommend any inspirational literature that I can read? And so I wrote this book for them, something that sort of actually helps them identify the issues, but also inspires them to be better.
And it's not a diet book, and I think that's really interesting. Like, don't look at it as a diet, right?
No, I think it's truly a true, you know, we talk now in medicine about making a lifestyle change. Diets imply a beginning, a middle, and an end. And I would argue that most people have no problem with the startup. The beginning, you know, everybody picks, especially although around this time of year, the beginning has fallen off track. You know, January 1st, people have no problem. They got a list of books that they're going to read and implement. And that's not how you make a lifestyle change. It's not how you make any change in your life. I think change happens gradually and over time and with constant attention to it. And so what I tried to really navigate was a long-term prescription, so to speak, one that really didn't have an end to it.
Now, interesting fact, I read about you that you spent your 40th birthday climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. That's incredible. Tell us about that.
Actually, it's 2 years ago around this time that we would have left. I wanted a grand gesture, so to speak, and the funniest was we were standing before this massive mountain, and Kilimanjaro is 19,375 feet above sea level.
Wow.
It's insane. It was funny, as we were flying here from Calgary, they're like, we'll be flying at an altitude of 19,000 feet, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, been there,
Climb that.
Yes, but we were standing in front of this massive mountain, and my husband turned to me and said, you know, I love you, but you couldn't turn 40 like everybody else just in Vegas with a hat and a bunch of friends. But it really was, it was an incredible experience. I wanted this grand gesture, and in fact, we summited the day after my 40th birthday. So that was, so I spent my 40th birthday at Crater Camp at 18,000 feet.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it was pretty magnificent. So
okay, so if people, if they want to lose weight, I mean, most people won't start by climbing one of the world's tallest mountains, but maybe a few simple tips on where to start, because sometimes it can seem, you know, you can't even fathom starting it out. So where do people start?
So I think the task, as you say, is really, really daunting, and I would argue that, you know, that climb was sort of a graduation as opposed to an initiation. Absolutely. I would say a couple of things. So look at one thing you're going to change tomorrow. And I get people to keep a food diary so they see what they're eating, and then they can say, oh, you know what? I drink a lot of my calories. I got to cut that out. My sort of 5 rules, so to speak, for weight loss about a place to start: go for a walk every day for 30 minutes. If you can't walk, get your butt into a pool, so to speak. So do some sort of physical activity that doesn't hurt for 30 minutes a day. Never drink your calories.
Right.
Absolutely. Juice, pop, all of those sorts of things, eliminate entirely. Try and eat 3 meals a day: breakfast, lunch, and dinner, maybe a snack here and there. Keep a food diary so that, you know, I would argue many of us keep track of our expenses. We write stuff down. We keep a journal even. We keep a calendar in our phone even. Why don't we keep track of our food that way? And then finally, healthy food choices really are better. You know, people say, what should I eat? Low carb, low you know what? Pick something that you can stick to for the rest of your life and have at that.
Okay, great. Simple tips. Thank you so much for talking with us, Allie.
Me. Absolutely. Take care.
And welcome back to Lethbridge.
Yes, it's awesome. A little dry, but very sunny.
There you go. If you're interested, you can always pick up her book. It's called The Weight Loss Prescription.